Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day. Today's video is covering packet number 4, day 5. So today is the end of the first week of packet 4. So because it's the end of the first week, you should be starting to get together and choose 2 pieces of work from each subject to send to me and Mr. Overton so that we can mark that you've turned in your work. 2 from reading, 2 from writing, 2 from math, 2 from content. So that's 8 in all for this week. And then we'll send you feedback, and then we'll do the same thing at the end of next week. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're looking at your packet, like I said, today is day 5. So go ahead and look in that section for our reading and writing pieces of learning today. We start with phonics. It says, read the following sentences and highlight the words with the L blend. Draw a picture on paper to go with each sentences. So to remind us what L blend words are, I'm going to take us to the bottom of the packet. And I'll share my screen. Right here we have our L blend words up at the top, or our L blend examples. So block, clown, flag. It's 2 consonants, one being an L, where we hear both of those sounds. We hear both the F and the L in flag. So that would be one of the L blend words. So for the directions today, it said, read the following sentences and highlight the words with the L blend. Draw a picture on paper to go with each sentences. So for example, in the first, and you can rewrite the sentence and then underline or highlight or color the word with an L blend, and then next to that sentence, draw a picture to go with the sentence. So for the first sentence, it says, the slug looked like a blob. Which words do you think have L blends? Slug, we hear the S and the L. But there's another one. Right here, I see blob, blob. So that would be an L blend. So after you have underlined or highlighted or colored in the words with an L blend, then you will draw a picture next to each sentence, and the picture should go with the sentence. So the next one is, I am glad I did a flip. She will clap when the play ends. The flag is black. The plum slid out of the bag. So for each of those sentences, you are circling, underlining, highlighting, whatever you choose, the words with L blends, and then you're drawing a picture that goes with each sentence. And like I said, you can use the blend review card if you need to. And like I said, that's at the end of your packet. So the next part is a phonological awareness section, and it says practice counting sounds in 1-syllable words. So read the word hug. Say each sound in the word. G. Then count the sounds in the word. G. 3. So your child will do that with each word given. So you'll say the word hug. They'll say hug. Then say each sound in the word. They'll break it down by sound and tell you how many sounds are in that word. So for example, the first one given in the chart is slide. So you'd say slide. Now tell me how many sounds are in slide. S-L-I-D. Slide. 4 sounds. And you would do that for the rest of them. The other ones are float, plane, clash, and blend. For reading, it says that's all you're doing for your phonological awareness. You're repeating the word breaking it down by its sounds and saying how many sounds are in that word and all. The next item is reading, and it says read Planet Blip Blop to your favorite stuffed animal or a family member. So I'm going to go ahead and find that. I will read it once to you, but then you need to read it to either your favorite stuffed animal or a family member at home. And so it's right here. Planet Blip Blop. Fred is in the Slob Glob Spy Club. Cliff and Clem are in the club too. Fred, Cliff, and Clem will plan a trip. They have to plan a trip to take a bag of stuff to Planet Blip Blop. Their pal Slim lives on Blip Blop. He has to have the stuff in the bag. Let's get on with it, said Fred. We have to plot a plan. This map will tell us how to get to Slim. A clan of bad blobs lives on Planet Blip Blob. They live in the hills and they bleed blue blood. Cliff and Clem need a fast sled to get over the hills. Clem and Cliff went to Planet Blip Blop. Their pal Slim lives on Red Clam Hill. When they got to Blip Blop, they went on a fast sled to Red Clam Hill. Look out, yelled Cliff. It is a blob trap. Clem fell in the trap. I am a Claude, said Clem. I tripped into the blob trap. Clem flipped and flopped, but he did not get out of the trap. Clip this on and I will pull you out before the blobs come, said Cliff. Cliff pulled Clem out of the trap. Cliff pulled Clem onto the sled. Then they went up Red Clam Hill. They put a flag on top of the hill. Just then, a man clad in blue popped up. I am Slim, and I am glad to see you, he said. Cliff and Clem gave Slim the bag of stuff. Slim put Cliff and Clem on a magic rug. When Slim clapped his hands, Cliff and Clem jetted home. Slim got the stuff. Clem and Cliff went home. So, now you need to read that book, Planet Blip Blop, to your favorite stuffed animal or a family member. Now, what did you notice about the words in that book? Earlier today, you had to find L-blend words. I noticed that there are a lot of L-blend words in that book that we just read. See if you can point some out while you're reading. So read it to your favorite stuffed animal or a family member, and that's the book Planet Blip Blop, the one that I just read. So now, for the math problem today, it's a little bit different. It's not a word problem like we've had before where we do a practice one. It's more of one that we just need to explain, and then you'll do it by yourself. There's not really a practice problem that we're going to do. But I will share the screen with you so that you can see the packet. So right here, it says, look at the picture below. Which one doesn't belong? Can you choose another that doesn't belong? So, out of these 4 pictures, you need to figure out which one doesn't go with the group. Which one stands out or sticks out? After you find one that doesn't belong, that doesn't go with the rest of the group, see if you can choose another one that doesn't belong. I would suggest that you look at the coins. I would suggest that you count the coins, see how much is in each box, how much money is in each box. So you're going to look at the picture, figure out which one doesn't belong with the rest of the group, and then you're going to see if you can figure out in a different way another one that doesn't belong. So this is using our money skills that we have learned. So see if you can figure out one that doesn't go with the rest. And then see if you can figure out a different one that doesn't go with the rest for a different reason. Now we're going to be looking at content. Content is our new information, so its heading is Christopher Newport. Look at the painting of Jamestown from Thursday. What do you notice about the painting? What do you wonder? So let's go ahead and look back at the painting from Thursday of Jamestown. Right here. So let's look at the fort. We see the ships in the water. Tell someone what you notice and what you wonder about this picture. Then it says, tell someone why you think it is in the shape of a triangle. Why does it have a wall made of sharp pointed logs? Is it a good thing that it is built by the water, or why not? Where do you think they grew their food? So that's a lot of questions that you need to tell someone. So you are saying these to someone, an adult or an older sibling at your house. Tell someone why you think it is in the shape of a triangle. Why does it have a wall made of sharp pointed logs? Is it a good thing that it is built by the water? Why or why not? And where do you think they grew their food? So these are all questions that you need to be thinking about the answers to them while looking at that picture that we just had up. So, okay, I'm going to take us back to that picture really quickly. Yep. So this is the one you're looking at. Why do you think it's in the shape of a triangle? Why do you think they're using pointed logs for the walls? Is it good that it's near the water? Why or why not? And where do you think they're growing their food? These are all things to think about. Then we're going to read these 2 pages. It says, Christopher Newport. Christopher Newport was an English explorer. He safely brought the first colonists to Jamestown, but he did a lot more than just that. So he was an explorer. He sailed across the oceans, and he's the one that brought the first colonists from England to Jamestown. So the word explore means a person who travels to a new place and tries to learn more about it. And this caption says, Newport used small sailing boats and Indian canoes to travel up the James River. He explored it as far as he could to go before waterfalls stopped him. So he used small Indian canoes and small sailing boats to go up the James River and explore before he got to some waterfalls because he couldn't sail the boats through the waterfalls. Saving Jamestown. Newport knew that English settlers needed help from the Powhatans, so he tried to keep peace between the 2 groups. It was not always easy. There were many hard times for the settlers. Lots of men died during a terrible winter with very little food. This caption for this picture says, during a bitter cold winter, the settlers tried to steal food from the Indians who barely had enough for themselves. What do you think is happening in this painting? So let's see, what do you think is going on here? Look at the painting. It says that the settlers tried to steal food from the Indians when they barely had enough for themselves. So what do you think is going on? What do you think that the Native Americans are doing? Newport made a very big contribution to Jamestown. He returned to England to bring more supplies and settlers back to the Jamestown settlement. Thanks to him, Jamestown was saved. So word to know, contribution. It said Newport made a very big contribution to Jamestown. Contribution is the act of giving or doing something. So he really helped them out a lot because during one of the really tough winters where their food was low, and a lot of them were getting sick, so people were dying, they needed help. So he got back in his ship and sailed all the way back to England to bring back more food and supplies and more people. So he brought food and supplies and more people back to Jamestown, and that way the colony or the settlement was able to survive. So he was very helpful to the settlers at Jamestown, and he tried to keep the peace between the settlers and the Native Americans. He tried to make it so they weren't always fighting with one another. So after we've read those pages, it says, answer 2 of the questions below with someone in your home or on a piece of paper. So after you've read those 2 pages that I just read to you, you need to read them to yourself now. Every time I read something to you, it's just to kind of give you a little preview of it. Then you need to read it by yourself. So it says, answer 2 of the questions below with someone in your home or on a piece of paper. So you have lots of choices. You have 8 question choices, and you need to pick 2 of them. So I'll read all of the questions, and you need to pick 2 to answer with someone at home or on a piece of paper. So they are, who was Christopher Newport? Who did he bring to Jamestown? How did Christopher Newport travel up the James River? Why didn't he take his big ships up the James River? What did Newport think of the Powhatan Indians? What kinds of hard times did the settlers face? What season was especially harsh for the settlers? Why do you think that season was so hard for them? So out of all those questions, pick 2 of them to answer with an adult or write down the answers on paper. And if you're going to pick these to send to show Mr. Overton and I, it would probably be best if you write them down so that you can take a picture really quick and we can see your work and your thinking. So after you've done that, it says bonus. You are an explorer. Ask a grown-up to go outside with you and explore an area. What do you notice about the area? What does it look like? What does it sound like? How does it smell? Write down your observations like an explorer so you can tell others about it. So that's kind of a fun little extra thing that you can do to kind of get your mind thinking like an explorer. So that's something extra that you can do with a family member. Go outside and explore an area and answer these questions. What do you notice about the area? What does it look like? What does it sound like? How does it smell? Write down your observations like an explorer so you can tell others about it. So that's kind of a fun activity that you can do to further your learning. And then it says optional. Watch the WHRO Learn to Grow segment from 1:15 to 1:30. Practice what was talked about in today's segment. So that's always an option because the Virginia Department of Education is always going to be having those programs run educational lessons on TV. So WHRO Learn to Grow segment from 1:15 to 1:30 and practice what was talked about in today's segment. That's always a choice for you. So that's all of the things that you have to do for today's packet. Remember, after you've done today's work, you should be able to pick 2 pieces of work from each subject this week, reading, writing, math, content. Pick 2 from each to send to Mr. Overton and I so that we can mark that you've turned that in for this week. Awesome. Good job, you guys. That's great. So the first week of packet number 4 is done. You've done a great job. I hope that you're finding ways to stay busy, both with your mind and your body. Going outside, it is really helpful because it can make us, because while we're stuck inside, it can make us feel almost trapped, like we can't do anything. But if we take time to go outside, that can help us get some energy out and some fresh air. So if you have any questions, please feel free to always let me know. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will have our next Zoom call on Tuesday. I'll be sending out my weekly email on Sunday with more information, as always, and I hope that you guys have a great one. Bye.